Hi, it's Wednesday, May 11th, 2016. I'm going to be talking about Brexit and inflation in the UK. There's an article out in the telegraph.co.uk website, major UK newspaper, the Daily Telegraph, and the headline says, Brexit will force rates up to 3.5% within 18 months, says newest MPC member or Monetary Policy Committee member. He used to be a chief economist at Citibank. His name is Michael Saunders. And the reason he's saying that is that he thinks if the UK vote to leave the European Union or Brexit, that the pound will drop 15 to 20%, and that could drive up inflation as the pound drops in value, which makes sense. I agree. For once, I agree with the central banker who's saying a drop in the currency value actually raises inflation because the currency becomes worth less and everything else that has to be bought or imported in US dollars becomes worth more. And the reason I say US dollars is that most commodities or everything that has to be imported is done in dollars because the dollar is a reserve currency. But the reason I'm doing this video is to point out that the fact that I think this Brexit vote is a scapegoat for the inflationary tsunami that we're going to get in the UK. And the reason I say that is because since 2008, in my opinion, the policy of the Bank of England and the Labour government and even the present government has been to inflate the currency or devalue the currency, and eventually that leads to higher prices. And I know most people in the UK have noticed in the last years that, you know, everything that you need has been going up, you know, like food, energy, even though we had to drop in oil prices, still very high compared to 10 years ago. Tuition fees, even, you know, they've gone up. The government has put those up for university. Everything you need, you know, utilities, what else? The house prices, rents, everything has gone up. And but we keep getting told by the establishment and the bankers and the economists that we are in a danger of deflation, and that's why the Bank of England has to keep rates at almost 0% and do QE, which they've stopped for now, but they did like 300 billion pounds of QE, maybe a little less. But as you look at this chart I'm going to show you, and keep in mind that Michael Saunders, who's now MPC member for the Bank of England, said that a Brexit vote could lead to inflation because the pound might drop 15 to 20%. Keep that in mind. So look at this chart. Just prior to the 2008 market or financial market collapse, financial system meltdown, the pound, £1 bought $2.11. That was the high just before 2008 and 2007 to 2.11. And now the pound, as you can see, the right-hand corner of the chart is 144.40. That's a 31% drop. And if you know, we've had almost a third of the value of the pound being, you know, eroded away in the last 8 years. And we're told that we have a danger of deflation. But now we've got the Brexit vote, and that makes it convenient to blame Brexit for, you know, higher rates and inflation. And I will also talk about the euro as well, because here in the UK, you know, we've heard the last 4 or 5 years, you know, with the debt problems in Greece and Europe, all over, you know, Southern Europe, the pigs. We've thought, oh, the euro has collapsed. I'm glad we didn't join, you know, the euro. And believe me, I'm not for joining the euro. I'm just saying this as to prove a point. But now I've put up the Euro GBP or Euro Sterling chart, and this is in terms of the euro, not in terms of the pound. And if you go back to 2007, 2008, and prior to that, the euro bought about 68 pence. So it was pretty steady there, as you can see, from 04 to 08. It was hovering around, 66 and 70, and it was, the midpoint was around 68. And then we had the great financial crisis, and the euro, zoomed up to almost parity against the pound, up to around 94. And yes, the euro has been dropping, since 2009. But if you look where we're now, almost around 80, the euro's 80 pence. So 1 euro can buy 80 pence. Compared to 2007, 2008, the euro has appreciated as well. So the pound has dropped, not as much as against the dollar. So yeah, this article is quite interesting, So, the government or the Bank of England is now starting to say we might have to raise rates, because if we vote to leave, the pound could drop 15% and we might have inflation. Well, what about the third of the value that the pound has lost, since the great financial crisis? Isn't that going to bring inflation? And the other point I wanted to make is last year when the IMF announced that the Chinese yuan would become part of the SDR basket as of October 1st, 2016, they had to lower the weightings of the other currencies in the SDR, and the pound, which is part of the SDR, the pound got cut. Their weighting got cut the most. I think it was something over 15%. And I haven't heard anyone talk about that. And at the time, I said that was one of the reasons, in my opinion, why the pound would also keep dropping, because countries now who have accounts with the IMF, which is the whole world, when they put their reserves with the IMF, they put it in SDRs. And they're not going to have to buy as many pounds coming soon in October. And markets always, discount these things in advance if they know it. And yeah, so I will put the link to the video I did about, the SDR. I think it was sometime late last year when the news came out that the IMF was going to put the yuan in. And I pointed out that the pound would suffer from that. The other thing, that seems strange, since July 2014, way before this, the government decided to have the referendum, the pound has, dropped from July 2014 from 171 to the dollar to around 144 now, which is a 15% drop. So why haven't they raised rates now? Isn't that inflationary? Why are we still at 0.5%? So yeah, I think no matter what happens, if we have Brexit or not, the pound is going to keep depreciating, because that's the only way that this country can devalue, its debt. And we have huge debts in the UK, not only private but public, the government. And like Donald Trump said the other day, and he was honest, you don't hear other politicians, well, he's not a politician, say that countries don't default on their debt. They just print more money. And what does print more money mean? It means higher prices. It's inflationary. So in my opinion, the best way to protect yourself, if you are a UK resident and you have, spare pounds or savings in the bank, I would think about buying some gold sovereigns. That's the best way to protect yourself, because that's a currency that has a 5,000-year track record. We've come, 1 ounce of gold in pounds was around 220 pounds about 14 years ago, and we are now almost 900. We have been up to 1,100, but I think the trend is for higher gold prices no matter what happens. So yeah, think about maybe buying a few gold sovereigns I guess you could buy dollars, but that's trickier. You have to open an account. You just have to go to the just go online and search buy gold in the UK, and you'll find loads of online dealers or your local jewelry store. So yeah, don't let this Brexit vote fool you about inflation. It's not Brexit that's going to cause inflation. It's the policy of debasement of the currency we've had since 2008 that's going to bring the inflationary tsunami to the UK. Take care. And if you like this video, please share it and also give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well. Thanks. Bye.